if you want to understand and know what you're getting yourself into as a buyer and or a seller, you want to have a Hey there, everyone. Dave Barlow here with the gang from Sell for 1%. Got Jay the Bomb, Jay Marinsky, and of course, yours truly, the father of the most handsome realtor, 18 years running, Jay the Bomb. So we're going to get right into our term of the week. And this week, we're going to talk about contingencies. And so, Jay, I'll ask you, in your mind, what good is a contingency?
Well, I always say contingencies. Contingencies, and it depends on, I guess, what it is. When I build a search for a buyer, I guess, the first thing that comes to mind is like a tip and a quick pointer is there's different contingencies. You're contingent on a home inspection, you're contingent on financing. There's contingent escape clauses, which are going to be if someone has a home to sell, that deal has an out. And so the tip of the day for buyers is when you go on Zillow, you won't see those. Realtor.com, you're not going to see those listings. Your realtor, or preferably me, the best looking realtor in Columbus, can set you up on the MLS and send you actives like every other jabroni. But I always add in contingent escapes. The other one to look for are coming back a little bit are short sales, contingent on lien holder release. These are deals that aren't solid. So contingent is different than pending. Pendings you will see on Zillow and Realtor.com, but these contingent deals you won't. Pending means it's usually a cash deal. There is no contingency for financing to come through, and or they're through that. And the agent's done what they're supposed to do and update the MLS. So, the contingencies can depend from the seller's point of view. Before I, spin it to Jamie, you come off the market, you want to make sure you're getting married to the right buyer. We don't want to come off and then we're contingent on a home sale or whatever the case is. And then all of a sudden the deal is back on the market and everyone's calling you going, well, why didn't this sell? Is something wrong with the house? No, nothing's wrong with the house. The buyer had shaky financing. The buyer was selling their house and it didn't sell. Most people aren't going to know that. They're just going to assume something's wrong. And so it's a double-edged sword.
Yep. Jay Marinsky, what does contingencies bring to your mind?
I'm still very heavily on the buyer side of deals. And I think contingencies are, for the most part, they're protecting the consumer and most of the time the buyer in contract. And I say that, there's a home inspection contingency. It's they call a home inspection, you could call it due diligence. I like due diligence better. Caveat emptor is a big word in real estate, dates back to Roman times. It means buyer beware.
How often do you think of the Roman Empire?
Once a day at work. So you have the contingency. You say, we want to buy the house. We're willing to, pay this price. Seller says okay. And there's a couple contingencies typically with the finance buyer, including the inspection, which is, this offer is contingent on your house not having fallen apart behind the walls where we can't see, not having crazy wiring going on, things like that. It's contingent on us being satisfied with the home. And then, typically if you're not, there's another little negotiation during the remedy period after inspections, which contingency with findings. Correct. If you add it in, which we're seeing a lot more of it now as the market is not white hot anymore.
Right.
Things are still selling. It's just kind of reverting back to remedy is a big contingency that's coming up now.
Sure.
Financing, another contingency. And again, before you're off the market, you want to use a realtor like Jaysen that is going to do his due diligence with your lender, because we do have lenders that we don't know how solid that pre-approval letter may be, contingent on the buyer providing correct data, income, tax stubs, verification of income, that money's not coming in the last 60 days from a relative so you can buy this house. So from my point of view, I think contingencies heavily favor the consumer, the buyer, mostly. I guess you could say seller's consumer, but that is what I think of with the word contingency.
So, the less contingencies, the stronger the offer. So like, what Jamie's talking about is when the market was red hot, buyers were waiving contingencies. They were waiving home inspection. They were waiving the appraisal that was contingent on appraisal, saying, hey, whatever it appraises for, I'll bring the difference in cash. Hey, we're not really seeing that anymore. And so that's a sign the market's becoming more balanced. It's not really a buyer's market because prices, for the most part, are still holding, and there's not much for sale. So it's hard to say, it's flipped to a buyer's market, but, definitely more balanced, where we're seeing, that kind of stuff come back into play. And so the fewer contingencies, the more solid it is. And I think the only contingency the seller really has is clear title. Is there anything else, any other ways for the seller to get out of a deal in our market? Is that, really the only one, is the title's not clear?
Well, I mean, it's just like the buyer side. The seller, when we've had this happen, the seller just decided a day or two before closing, I'm not going to sell. It's just not going to work out. And so, you can kill a deal pretty much for any reason. The buyer is the one that is exposed to whatever kind of deposit, which again is a contingency. If you actually look at the Columbus Board of Realtors standard purchase contract, it's a 14-page document, including the signature page. And every one of those paragraphs is a contingency. Even the signature page is a contingency. The offer comes in from the buyer. They submit the 14-page contract. They sign their side. And so the offer is contingent upon the seller signing their side. And, very few contracts get sold or get signed as is. There's typically a counteroffer that the seller sends back to the buyer that, hey, I accept all your terms, but I want to change these things. They sign their side. And again, it's contingent upon the buyer signing the counteroffer. So the entire purchase contract, the entire process is contingent. And so as a buyer and or a seller, you want to try to understand all of these terms that are contained within the purchase contract. One of the most important ones is in Columbus, paragraph 13.2, if I want to sound like an attorney and all, but it says time is of the essence. And that's a legal term. And that basically means that if you get to the end of the expiration time for the offer, then the contract becomes dead. Now, they have added language in here now that says whether or not so stated elsewhere in this contract, no deadline or time period under this contract can be modified or waived except by written agreement signed by both parties. And so that's one of the things that happens. You get to the end of your time frame that this offer is only open until 6 p.m. tonight. At 6:01, if you're going to send a counteroffer or you try to sign the contract, in theory, the contract's dead. So you have to put language in to your counteroffer that both parties agree to extend the time frame. So the whole thing is interesting, and the bottom line is, if you want to understand and know what you're getting yourself into as a buyer and or a seller, you want to have a good group of agents, realtors, preferably us, that can help navigate you through all of these contingencies. And so you got questions, give us a call. shoot us an email, send text messages. Our information's here online. If you like this information, want to see more of it, be sure to like and subscribe and click that notification bell to get notified as we send out additional information that's beneficial to you and both buyers and sellers. So appreciate your conversation here this morning, guys. A lot of great information, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.